Hello, and welcome aboard WhalePod to another wishing session here in Genshin Impact. I'm your Captain Whale. Today we're not going to do any of the trials on camera because the only character we're shooting for is a 4-star, and that's honestly kind of boring. So, before we begin, we have Jean sitting in the Grandmaster's chair, and we're going to pop the 69th Holy Water on Jean. Now, we have 200 wishes prepared for Layla here on the Tartaglia banner. If we do not get C6 Layla in these 200 wishes, we will stop here. This is a little this is a little experiment to see how many Laylas can we get in 200 wishes. That is 400 USD for those unfamiliar with Genshin wishing prices. Now, let's get into things. We will not be skipping the 4-stars because Layla is a 4-star. Hazo, already looking, he's early enough, it could be a double in this pull. Just a Hazo. More just a 4-star. Toma. Here's our double. Unfortunately, it's a Widsith. Still no Layla, 20 pulls in. And aside from Layla, everyone is Constellation 6, so of course only Layla is actually helpful to us, of course. Would have been so much nicer had they just put Layla on the first phase, so we could have gotten C6 Layla while going for C6 Nahida. But here's our C0 Layla. We will be skipping 4-stars now from this point on. That is one new Layla. 30 wishes in. It's still C0. C1. C2. I believe that's 60 wishes in. We should be coming up on Soft Pity. Still C2. Here's our first 5-star. We do need to win a 50-50 here to get ourselves a Tartaglia. Jean and Tignari are acceptable losses. Hey, speak of the devil and he appears. That's Constellation 4 Tignari. Our Tartaglia is currently C0. And of course, Tignari is catching right up to Jean. Still only C2 Layla, though. Still C2. C3. If we get, once again, if we get C6 in these next 100 wishes, we'll just stop wishing and save for the next banner, because I don't really care too much about Tartaglia constellations. Still only C3, though. Nothing. Like, a jack nothing. Everybody but Layla, of course. C4 Layla, let's just double check. Yes, it is C4. C5 Layla. And we're getting a Tartaglia before we get our C6 Layla. And we get our C6 Layla with our C1 Tartaglia. There's our double pull. There we go. Quick little wishing session. We still have 40 squirreled away for the next banners to come around. Those will be in version 3.3. I believe Wanderer should be on the first half of 3.3. It would make sense. I couldn't see them putting their flagship character on the later half of the banner, or the later half of the patch. Particularly when I believe 3.3 will be returning to the previously scheduled 6-week patches, as the 5-week patches for 3.0, 3.1, and 3.2 was mainly to make up the 3-week delay between the end of 2.6 and the start of 2.7. Now, we have a new character and some constellations to put on her. I don't have everything to build Layla right away. We also have constellations for Tignari and Tartaglia. When Fashioner's Tanglevine Shaft, I believe that's his ult, is unleashed, all nearby party members gain 60 EM for 8 seconds. If it triggers a Burning Bloom, Quicken, or Spread reaction, their elemental mastery will be further increased by 60. This latter case will also refresh the buff state's duration. So, 120 elemental mastery to the party in the right teams. Not crazy, but definitely better than anything Chi-Chi has. Yes, even the Resurrect, because it requires you to use Chi-Chi's burst, and Chi-Chi has 0 built-in energy generation. Now, we have Foul Legacy tied with Older, decreases the cooldown of his Foul Legacy Raging Tide, his melee stance, by 20%. If you're like me and you forget just how long you've been in melee stance, this can shave a considerable amount of time off of getting you back into melee stance. Now, for the real show, we've prepped everything we need to level Layla up. So, let's do that.
How did I do that?
And now we have a level 20. We're going to level 21. Or 20 of 40.
Get it together, Layla. You've got to work harder.
She ascends into HP, it seems.
Okay.
39. Optimum efficiency here.
Get it together, Layla. You're doing well so far, but you've still got a lot to learn.
And now we're at 40 of 50. Let's go and bring that to 50 of 50. Already as efficient as can be with just throwing 29 purples in there. Keep her ascending. 12% HP from Ascension now. $59. Here's her 4th star and her final Ascension passive. I imagine all of hers are going to start like Get It Together Layla or something like that. Level 70. Here is the 5th star. Yeah, we have plenty of the cryo gemstones. We have enough that we can get every cryo character left, including Layla here, to 80 of 90. And in a way, this has also been me. I can also then just use Aloy's portion of the chunks when Mika comes out, and just, you know, forget about Aloy because she's, you know, trash. She should never have been in this game.
Get it together, Layla. Believe in yourself and in the person who's helped you come this far. The two of you together can solve any problem that comes your way. Whew. All right. Time to leave my worries behind. Let's go.
She doesn't realize that this person is actually herself. Now we're going to, we're just going to cap her off here at 90 of 90, because why the heck not?
I do that?
And there's 90 of 90. We have 3 wishes to claim. Artifacts, we're gonna put just anything on her right now, but I'm gonna try and get the sets I want. Well, we're gonna... obviously not there. Decent HP tenacity. Let's also check in the emblem to see where we have some stuff. Yeah, she can hold on to that for now. Guess she's got to hold on to that to get her a 2-piece set there. Then we can go down to tenacity. We'll have her hold on to that one for now. And that one for now. We'll, of course, get her better artifacts before properly building her. She's also just going to be a placeholder for the... going to be a placeholder for the weapon. I'm going to give her Summit Shaper just to hang on to until we have something better to give her. Or until I can think of something better to give her, because it does give her shield strength, which I know is just for her, but she does have a shield in her kit. And it will just give her some attack and defense bonuses if I decide I want to have her be a main or sub DPS for some friendship farm team here in the future. So we'll have her hold the Summit Shaper for now. We'll go ahead and clear away these. I'll listen to these on my own time. I just like to clear away the red dot. And now her constellations. Wait, no, before constellations, we're going to take her talents up. 2, 2, and 2 across the board. I'm going to bring her to 6, 6, and 6. We do have the silvers for that. I've been saving at least 63. Just for this purpose. Now, we'll just bring things up to 6. There's her E at 6. Her burst at 6. And her normals at 6. Constellation 1. The shield absorption of the Curtain of Slumber generated by Knights of Formal Focus is increased by 20%. Additionally, when unleashing Knights of Formal Focus, you will generate a shield for any nearby party members who are not being protected by a Curtain of Slumber. This shield will have 35% of the absorption of a Curtain of Slumber, will last for 12 seconds, and will absorb cryo damage with 250% effectiveness. Some party shielding, should you desire to do co-op. When shooting stars from Knights of Formal Focus strike opponents, they will each restore 1 energy to Layla. Each shooting star can restore 1 energy to her in this manner once. Little extra energy recovery for her. Increases the level of Knights of Formal Focus by 3. Maximum upgrade level is 15. When Knights of Formal Focus starts to fire off shooting stars, it will grant all nearby party members the Dawn Star effect, causing their normal and charge attacks damage to increase based on 5% of Layla's max HP. Dawn Star can last up to 3 seconds and will be removed 0.05 seconds after dealing normal or charge attack damage. Increases the level of Dream of the Star Stream Shaker by 3. And shooting stars from Knights of Formal Focus deal 40% increased damage, and Starlight Slugs from Dream of the Star Stream Shaker deal 40% increased damage. Additionally, the interval between the creation of Night Stars via Knights of Formal Focus is decreased by 20%. A lot of these do focus on the little stars her shield will shoot off every now and then. Either that, shield strength, or a little bit of energy. Now, that leaves us talents of 6, 9, and 9. There are a couple more things I do want to take care of before ending this video. It's only about 15 minutes long in the recording right now, so let's go ahead and we do have some standard banner wishes to use, 20 of them in fact. So, well, let's not let this Gene holy water to go to waste. And see what we get. Bennett and Toma. More Star Glitter. I believe this will bring us to 72 pity, so not quite soft. And literally nothing. The bell is, actually no, the bell is less than nothing. So, this won't count our 20 we just did, but we can at least see how much we were at beforehand. We were at 52 beforehand, which means we are at 72 now. 3 more is soft pity. We do have 3 more singles. We'll do 3 more and see if it comes home on soft. That is a black tassel. That is an emerald orb. And here's our 5-star on soft pity. Yeah, that is Constellation 6 Gene from the standard banner. That is, we're gonna save that one lonely wish and help us get back to a 10 pull faster, but that is the perfect capstone to this. We now have Lion's Fang, Fair Protector of Mondstadt. Incoming damage is decreased by 35% when in the field created by Dandelion Breeze. Upon leaving the Dandelion field, this effect lasts for 3 attacks or 10 seconds. Finally, after Gene being the last of the original 5 standard banner characters to come home for me, she's finally C6, y'all. Now, last order of business, I do want to sort of give a review of Yaimiko and Tartaglia here. Yaimiko is one of my personal favorite characters to use in this game, although my Yaimiko is definitely a bit... Sorry about that, I had to let out a few coughs. A bit unrelatable. My Yaimiko is Constellation 6 with a Refinement 5 Kagura's Verity. Her stats are as such: 78.6% crit rate, 169 nice 0.8% crit damage, a pitiful 111.7% energy recharge, but I don't really think Yaimiko needs it. And she's getting 61.6% electro damage bonus. All that res bonuses is from the fact she's in my party, which is using the protective canopy. My Yaimiko uses Kagura's Verity. Other good weapons I would recommend on her include the Lost Prayer for its 33 crit rate. As far as 4-stars go, I think I'd only really do the Widsith or maybe a Favonius for support Yaimiko. Maybe now that that elemental mastery is more of a thing, she could use the Wandering Evenstar. Then, to be honest, 1,000 Floating Dreams seems a little insane on anyone, as long as they can benefit from EM or elemental damage bonus. Once again, I don't think her book is I don't think the Sacrificial Fragments is quite worth it, though. Its passive is probably the most useless it could ever be on Yaimiko. You have 3 charges of it right off the rip. I don't think Yaimiko can make any better use of any of the 3 stars than any other Catalyst can. Well, the only one worth using at all is Thrilling Tales of Dragon Slayers, and while Yaimiko can use Thrilling Tales, I don't think she particularly uses it any better than someone like Barbara does. So for weapons, I'm gonna say, maybe the Wandering Evenstar. I've never tested a full EM Yaimiko. Widsith is always a good option. You can either get more elemental damage, more attack, or a butt-ton of elemental mastery. Lost Prayer to the Sacred Winds is also a good alternative if you don't have Kagura's Verity. And 1,000 Floating Dreams may be busted on Yaimiko, considering she does have a lot of EM scaling. However, it does mean you have to stack a lot more crit elsewhere. Miko does want a lot of crit. On my Yaimiko's artifacts, I'm still running the same 2-piece Gladiators, 2-piece Thundering Fury that I've been running on her since version 2.5. I have not taken the time to get her a full set of Thundering Fury, although I would say Full set Thundering Fury is now her best. Other good, and I'd say it's even her best by so much of a degree that I wouldn't even recommend this setup that I have anymore. I'm still doing fine, so I'm not too worried about getting this switched over as quick as I can. Once again, constellations on Yae Miko are good. This just refunds 8 energy per totem destroyed when using her ultimate. It's nice, it lets you have my abysmal amounts of energy recharge and still get to use your burst occasionally. This Constellation 2 is probably her second best. It's the best of her attainable constellations. The Sakura turrets she puts out start at level 2 instead of level 1. They go up levels by linking together, and this also increases their max level to 4, and their attack range is increased by 60%. One of the biggest complaints when Yae Miko got quote fixed in version 2.6 was changing her turrets from random targets to attacking the nearest, which, as a C2 Yae Miko haver at the time, I felt really cheated because, well, I paid money for the extra range. I want my extra range. I want them to attack at random, not just always the closest thing. Of course, a 3 is going to level up one of her talents. In this case, it is her elemental skill. She is more about her skill than her burst. Her Constellation 4, when her E of the turrets it produces deal damage, the electro damage bonus of all nearby party members is increased by 20% for 5 seconds. Yep, Constellation 5 will increase the level of her burst by 3. And her best constellation, but is not at all attainable as far as for the average player without having to spend way more money than you're wanting to, is it's essentially Raiden Shogun's Constellation 2, where she ignores 60% of the target's defense, but instead of for the ultimate, it is for her E. The turrets that are constantly going pew, 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 pew will ignore 60% of their target's defense. This is how my Yae Miko is able to hit for 28k standing still, 35k with just a VV shred. VV, for those unacquainted, is a Viridescent Venerer, the current only Animo set in the game. My Yae Miko's talent level up is 6, 9, and 6 natural, or 6, 12, and 9 with constellations. Now, moving on to our least favorite Snezhnayan man. Tartaglia has been around in the game for a long time, and while I do enjoy playing him, I have so many characters and he's been unbuilt for so long that I've not played him as much as I probably could or should. Also, him being Friendship 10 from like a month after I got him is probably why he's been sitting on the back burner for so long as far as getting properly built and all. My Tartaglia's stats are not quite as impressive as my Miko's. He has a 57.9 crit rate and 176.7 crit damage. And although he does have more energy recharge with 133%, his hydro damage bonus is also higher than Yae's electro damage bonus because, well, he gets hydro damage as Ascension. Oh, before we go any further, there's one more thing I do want to show off on my Miko. That is on her artifacts. I am using her on a crit, crit rate circlet, electro damage goblet, and attack sands. If I were to rebuild her as full Thundering Fury, I would probably replace the attack sands with a EM sands. Now back to the Tartaglia action. Once again, those are his stats: 176, 57, 133, or I guess 57.9, 176.7, 90 hydro damage. I have Refinement Rank 1 Polar Star on him from the first Polar Star banner back in version 2.2. Other good Tartaglia weapons, he really enjoys a lot of 5 stars. Amos Bow is useless to him as far as anything beyond just the attack stat stick, which, that's worst case scenario. Skyward Harp is a very good Tartaglia weapon. He wants crit on it. He wants one of the crits on his weapon. I would not recommend Aqua Simulacra for him because HP is worthless to him and the base attack is too low. Polar Star, of course, is, I would say, is best in slot, actually. A very close contender for best in slot is actually Yoimiya's signature Thundering Pulse. It has as much crit damage on it as Polar Star has crit rate. Crit rate and crit damage stats come in a 2-to-1 damage to rate ratio, so a 608 33.1 is the same basis as a 608 66.2 for damage. So for the 5 stars, once again, the Hunter's Path has a worthless passive form and has too low a base attack. So I would recommend for 5 stars either the Thundering Pulse, Polar Star, or Skyward Harp. Skyward Harp also has the benefit of having the highest base attack possible for a bow at this point in time. The only weapons that have the higher base attack that result in 741 at level 90 are Polearms and Greatswords, with the Song of Broken Pines for Greatsword and the Calamity Queller for Polearms. As far as 4-star options for Tartaglia go, I would really only recommend the Rust, mainly because it was kind of built with Tartaglia in mind, so it does work a little better on him than it does on pretty much anyone else except for Yoimiya. Maybe the Viridescent Hunt, because it is a crit weapon, but once again it is going to be lower crit than a 5-star option, except for the Skyward Harp, but it makes up for that by having lower base attack than the Skyward Harp. Other 4 stars I would also maybe consider is the Blackcliff Warbow, because it is going to give you a sizable amount of crit damage, albeit at the cost of lower base attack than any of the 5 stars. But if you don't have 5 stars, well, you can't go wrong with a Blackcliff. Maybe even the Hamayumi, because it will increase normal attack damage by 16% at Refinement 1. My Hamayumi is R5, because I get so many bow billets from bosses, I don't know what to do with them. Yeah, I don't think the Line Snapper's a Tartaglia bow. Maybe the Stringless could be helpful, specifically for a Taser Tartaglia. When he's in his E stance, all his normal attack hits are considered, Wait, I don't think they are considered elemental skill damage, because isn't Tartaglia like a good driver for Beto's Burst? I'll have to test a little bit more and get back on that. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. There are guides channels out there if you want to know exactly about stuff like that. Favonius is, I would say, too low base attack to be worth the energy value to Tartaglia. His burst does hit hard, but just pair him with someone like Xingqiu or Yelan, and they can just help battery him. As far as 3-star options go, if you're really that desperate, the Slingshot does have a good amount of crit rate on it. Other than that, I don't think I could recommend any of these 3-star bows. Definitely not the Sharpshooter's Oath, because he's never going to be hitting weak points in his melee stance. Weak points is a mechanic specifically for bow users, and when he's in his melee stance, he's not a bow user. Oh, and of course, for those of you who are really looking for a challenge, just keep using the Hunter's Bow on Tartaglia. I mean, he comes with it equipped. It's perfectly good. You don't have to go rolling in the gacha for it, don't have to waste resources forging it. Just comes on him. And hey, it makes the game more difficult. And if you're craving that difficulty, just put a Hunter's Bow on him. Oh, in all seriousness, no, though, don't use a Hunter's Bow unless you're going for some stupid meme like soloing the child boss with a Hunter's Bow Amber or something stupid like that. Artifacts. My Tartaglia is on 4-piece Heart of Depths, which is what I would recommend him on. Other setups that can pass if you are not able to have a functioning 4-piece Heart of Depths is, I would say, well, 2-piece Heart of Depths plus anything 18% attack. I don't think the Echoes of an Offering will even trigger for him. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. Either way, I wouldn't recommend it if your ping is anything above 20, because above 20 it starts bugging out a little bit. Definitely not 4-piece Gladiator, because even in melee stance he is still considered a bow user and will not get any benefit from the Gladiator 4-piece. Shimenawa 4-piece is as counterintuitive to, in my opinion, every character's playstyle. No one should ever use Shimenawa 4-piece, even Yoimiya. Crimson Yoimiya is just strictly better. I mean, some damage from your burst is better than never getting to use it. And after all, that burst does have iframes, so if you're using the Shimenawa playstyle, you're denying yourself those iframes. Yeah, so I would highly recommend the 4-piece Heart of Depths. The actual stats on the piece varies based on what weapon you're using, because he does have good crit rate and crit damage options, and even one really good attack option in Rust. So I'm currently running crit damage to counteract the, match the crit rate on the Polar Star. He's got a offset Hydro Goblet, which honestly has some pretty good substats on it, and the only thing that could have gone better is not having that flat attack or rolling one of our subs into it. This was a 4-sub piece right from the start. And Attack on the Sands. Doesn't get any simpler than that. Just as far as, nope, let's just confirm again. Set filter, yeah, no. Not really. Maybe for the 2-piece only, if you're doing like a 2-piece Heart of Depths, 2-piece 18 attack, or just 2 sets of 2-piece 18 attack. Not a healer. Not defense scaling. His burst doesn't have the sustain like characters like Xiangling, Shogun, or Yelan who do want the Emblem of Severed Fate. Once again, 4-piece Shimenawa's, in my opinion, is dog crap. Do not use it on anyone, 4-piece. Use it only for its 2-piece. Tartaglia only deals physical damage in range stance, which is where his damage is worst. Not HP scaling, and is a main DPS. Tenacity is definitely a support set. Heart of Depths is his best in slot. Don't do Blizzard Strayer shenanigans with Tartaglia. Tartaglia is a bow user and does not get infused by things such as Benny Burst, so Crimson Witch is out. Lava Walker is just dog crap. Once again, I don't think there's anyone who passes on an Electro Infusion, and even if they did, Tartaglia wouldn't benefit, so no Thundering Fury. Thunder Soother is just as dog crap as Lava Walker is. Retracing Bolide is kind of dog crap these days. Archaic Petra is, well, kind of archaic these days. No one needs it. He's not Animo. He's not a healer. Once again, the same thing with Pale Flame. Bloodstained is a physical set. He only deals physical with his normal attacks in ranged stance. Noblesse is... I'm just tired of seeing Noblesse. Helioverse puts that on every single character during their story quest. Use it only for your supports. Don't put it on everything. Don't be Helioverse. Wanderer's Troop is actually somewhat decent. Elemental Mastery will help him with both Vape and Taser. And it does increase the power of his charge attacks, which normally you don't use, but Polar Star does want you to mix them in a little bit. The Gladiator's Finale is 2-piece only, because even in melee stance he does not benefit from the 4-piece at all. Now, his constellations are... Actually, I'm just gonna... I'm not gonna go over his constellations. You just saw the one I got, it's the only one I have. Wait, no. I'm gonna go back on that again. I am gonna do constellations. We've already seen that one. Reduces cooldown of his melee stance. When opponents affected by Riptide are defeated, Tartaglia will regenerate elemental energy, helps with his burst up time. 3 levels to his melee stance. When he's in the melee stance and he triggers Riptide Slash, I believe that's when an enemy affected by Riptide is slain. No. He will trigger it on opponents affected by Riptide every 4 seconds, so he'll get the slain effect just every 4 seconds. Otherwise, it will trigger Riptide Flash. I don't really understand this one too fully. Riptide Slashes and flashes triggered by this constellation effect are not subject to the time intervals that would typically apply to these 2 Riptide effects, nor do they have any effect on those time intervals. 3 levels to his burst, and using his burst in melee stance will reset the cooldown of his melee stance once you exit melee stance for range stance. Pretty cool. Lets you go the full time with Tartaglia. Full, true, on-field all-the-time main DPS. It is very powerful, but once again, as a 5-star Constellation 6, very unattainable. I'd say Tartaglia is one of the easiest skips for Constellation. I just got a Constellation on him because I was going for Layla on the banner where I didn't have the featured unit C6 already. So with that little Tartaglia review and Yaimiko review out of the way, we're going to end this Genshin Impact video here. Thank you for watching WhalePod. If you did enjoy this video, make sure to like, comment, and sub the channel if you have not done so already. All 3 of those help me out considerably and cost you only a few moments of your time. Now, with all that said and done, WhalePod, I have been your Captain Whale. I hope you all are having fantastic days. Make sure to stay cool, stay classy, and most importantly, stay healthy. But until next time, this is Captain Whale signing off.